So yeah, Jade Thomas George, do you have a specific type of breast implant? Is there a best type to have? And what is meant by low and high profile? Jade Thomas George, do you want to come on live and ask me that question? Do you want to invite yourself? Is there a thing when you're live? Because you can if you want. But if not, I'll just answer it as it is. Because, if we're going to do a split screen. Or maybe I shouldn't be encouraging the split screen thing, because maybe that would go badly if it actually happened. It did happen last week, and thought it went quite well, but the person didn't have a question. But apart from that, it went well. Jade, good question. Do you use a specific... You'll find that a lot of... Well, I think a lot of plastic surgeons or a lot of doctors will have their preferred thing that they use, and I've got a makeup implant that I use. All other things being equal, but I'm not tied to any makeup implant. You've got to be a little bit careful. I get a lot of people coming to the clinic saying, I want this implant because it's the best. And I'm always a little bit wary if someone says it's the best implant. Because if it was the best, we'd all use it, wouldn't we? Why would it, unless there's that one, they're all much the price. So there's no price differential. If one was like the Rolls Royce really expensive, then you could say, okay, well, this is a cheaper. I say there are cheaper ones, but in terms of the main companies like Mentor, Nagor, Polytech, Sebin, what's the Nagor make another company called make in France, can't remember what it's called now. But anyway, there's some big companies which I would say Allergan, but Allergan have just been taken off the market in the UK. So within the big companies, they all make an implant of around the same standard. They all have a premium range. Some have a cheaper range. Like Allergan used to have a CUI implant, but say Allergan are gone now. But they're all around the same price. And the difference is mainly in the warranty. There's difference in the texturing, the way the texturing is created. But as I say, if one was best, then we'd all just use that one. So in terms of my preference, I use polyurethane foam implants. Now the beauty of polyurethane foam implants is that there's only one company that make them, and that's Polytech. It's a German company. So you haven't got a choice. If you want polyurethane foam, it's quite easy, really. And they are more expensive. Polyurethane foam implants are more expensive than silicone implants. So there is a price thing there that they're more expensive. But in terms of silicone implants, I tend to use Nagor. I like Nagor. I used to use Nagor when I was in the NHS. I know the range. I know the book. I know I think I quite like the way they are. Their sort of code numbers make sense to me. They've got a good warranty, and I like them. But I don't work for any company or any place that's got a deal with a certain implant. I think you've got to be careful. If someone says to you, you've got to have these implants because they're the best, it might be that's the only implant that they use. So they might be saying that because they got a deal with that company. So if someone comes to me and says, look, I've heard that Mentor are really good, I'll be like, yeah, Mentor are really good. If you want a Mentor implant, that's fine. You can have a Mentor implant or whatever, another make. As long as the hospital have got have got a link with the company. So there's some implants they can't get, but as long as they can get, the normal ones, Mentor, Polytech silicone ones are good. I used a Polytech silicone one the other day, and they're good. Sometimes if you want a low that was the other part of your question, what's meant by low and high profile. They don't all have low profile, so like Polytech have got a low profile, so that's why I used a Polytech the other day, because Nagor don't do low profile. So it's really, I think, as long as you go for one of the premium companies, one of the well-known companies, I think you be a bit careful about someone saying one's the best. And I just use the ones that I use because of familiarity. To be quite honest with you, I'm not going to tell you they're better, because I think they're all good once you go with the best, the premium well-known ranges. So I hope that's helpful. And what is meant by low and high profile? Low and high profile, I've got some implants over there, but shall I get my implants? I'll get my implants. Low and high profile is I'm on the move. How much they stick out. That's what's meant by them. Oh, look, see what's happened with the lighting. The lighting's all gone. So some stick out more than others. And that's the profile. Right, there you go. These first two. And that is really important, And a lot of people don't think about the profile. A lot of people just think about the volume, 200 cc's, 300 cc's. You know, my friend's got 250s, and I want 250s because my friend looks really good. I'm going to do this. So the profile is really, really important. The things that are really important are the width and the profile. So if we put that there. So if I demonstrate here, 2 implants, can you see? They're both round, right? Can you see one sticks out more than the other? You see this one sticks out more than this one. This one's flatter. So they're both round. When they're called round implants, they're not really round. They're like a dome. They're like a dome shape. They've got a flat back, and they're like a dome. And this is more domed than this one, right? So that's a lower profile than wave. This one's a lower profile than this one. I don't know what profile they are, but anyway. So that's an extra high profile round. I think that's a GFX. So anyway, that's a different company. But anyway, so basically that's the profile. Some stick out more than others. So the really important thing is the base width. I could do it standing up. What's that angle like? The base width of your chest. So the base width of your chest is set. It's a certain thing, and then what you got to do, or what we do, is you look at different profiles of implants. Because some stick out more. People say round implants give you a fake look. It depends on the profile of the implant, and it depends on the breast tissue that you got before you start. So where's my questions? Some stick out more than others. So that's the problem with someone coming saying, my friend's got 250cc implants, so can I have 250cc implants? Because your friend could be really wide, could have a really wide chest. So a 250cc implant on your friend could be a low profile implant. Because she's so wide, that 250 cc's is over a wider area, so she might have a 250 cc low profile implant. Then you come and say you want 250 cc's, but your chest is really narrow. So 250 cc's in you would be a much higher profile implant. You might have an extra high profile implant for 250 cc's, and it will look totally different to what your friend looks like, although they're both 250 cc's. Yours will be sticking out loads, your friend's will be really flat. That makes sense. So that's why the volume is not everything. People think, oh, I want 250, I want 300, I don't want to be that small, I don't want to... I don't look at the volume at all. I look at the width and I look at the profile. Those are the really important things. And the breast tissue you've got, the size and shape of your breast that you got before you start. So it's crucial to think about the dimensions of your chest, what sort of volume that your chest can accommodate. And once you've got the dimensions of your chest and a certain profile, then you've got a certain volume. That lends itself to a certain volume. So we do have sizes in the clinic, but the sizes are not you choosing what volume to have. The sizes are a guide, and we just got to hope it matches the volume of the implant of the appropriate shape and width that fits your frame. Hope that's, sorry. Yeah, good question though, good question. So struggle I have all the time trying to convince people that the size is not everything. You know, everyone taught my friend's got 300s. I don't want to have 250s because she's got 300s. I don't want to be smaller than her. Well, you might not be smaller than her if she's wide and you're narrow. Because if she's wide, that 300 will be over a wider sort of area. In a sense, yeah. So we got that, nailed that question. Right. So you've got to... It's about based on your dimensions, and you've got to get the profile that's right, that there's the right sort of look you're after, because obviously a higher profile implant looks more rounded and fuller and will be bigger, obviously, in size. Often people say, I want natural. Natural is associated with less fullness, lower profile, therefore less volume. So you've got to be happy. Sometimes say, I want to be that size, but I want to be natural. You're like, well, if you want to be natural, that size might be a bit fuller in the upper part of the breast, which might look more rounded, which might look less natural. So you've got to balance, you've got to choose. And if you've got to choose, I could do the whole lot about this. If you've got to choose, you should always choose, in my view, shape. If you've got to choose between shape and volume, always choose shape. So, like, if you're saying, yeah, but I want to be 300 cc's, And I'm like, yeah, but you'd have to have a big round one, but you didn't want to be too rounded. You wanted a more natural look. So you wanted a teardrop implant or a moderate profile round implant, in which case you can only have 250 cc's. You'd be better off compromising on the size, go for a slightly smaller size and the shape that you want, rather than saying, no, I want that size, and then we give you that size, and it's rounded, and it's full, and it looks a bit not natural. Unnatural, some would say. And you might not be happy if it doesn't look natural. In my experience, people are happier getting the look that they want, even if the size isn't quite there. If you want the size, if you just push on the size, you might be unhappy, because if your shape's not right, you're going to feel not comfortable. That's my nugget. Go for the shape. Go for the shape, not the size.